Mrs. A story. I experienced severe breast engorgement after giving birth to my second child. My breasts were hard, swollen, and extremely painful. I was worried about how I would be able to breastfeed effectively. Thankfully, with the help of a lactation consultant, I learned different techniques to relieve engorgement. I used warm compresses before breastfeeding, massaged my breasts, and hand-expressed some milk to soften them. Within a few days, my engorgement reduced significantly, and I was able to breastfeed without pain.
Mrs. B story. I struggled with breast engorgement during the early days of breastfeeding my twins. It felt like my breasts were rock solid and it was difficult for my babies to latch properly. I reached out to a local breastfeeding support group and was introduced to reverse pressure softening technique. This technique helped to soften my areolas before each feeding, making it easier for my babies to latch and relieve engorgement. With consistent use, my engorgement gradually lessened, and breastfeeding became much more comfortable.
Mrs. C story. After the birth of my first child, I experienced severe breast engorgement, which made breastfeeding incredibly painful. I tried several remedies such as warm compresses, cabbage leaves, and pumping. But nothing seemed to provide long-lasting relief. I decided to seek professional help from a lactation consultant whose Mrs. D story. Breast engorgement